This is Made in Heaven. This is the 15th album by Queen. It was released in 1995, 4 years after Mercury's death. Contains tracks and vocals by Freddie that were recorded 6 months before he died, or less. And it also contains some Queen tracks that were taken out of the vault and remixed. This is the 2015 180 gram heavyweight black double vinyl. It's half-speed mastered. Originally this album was a single vinyl disc. Now it's been expanded to the correct length that the CD was from 1995. The band looking at Lake Geneva. It's not an album that I ever really got into. I bought the vinyl maybe 12 or 13 years ago. It's a kind of a cream white vinyl. I bought it just to have it because it was getting expensive. This one has been expanded on 2 discs, so I guess it's kind of worth getting it just for that alone. But it's not an album I really listen to that much, and I'll tell you why as we go. So this is what the full picture looks like. The CD was this kind of tone. It was much darker. For some reason the vinyl came with a lighter cover. I wish they went back to the darker one for the vinyl. It's a statue of Freddie in Switzerland. There's some posters with this one. They also came with the original one from 1995. Yeah, there's another one here. Freddie and John, around 1980-81. And Freddie with Roger. So yeah, these are nice. They're nice to have. The inner sleeves with the lyrics. There we go. Strange artwork. Very 90s. Dedicated to the immortal spirit of Freddie Mercury. I mean, the band had to release this album because, well, I would definitely think that May and Taylor were wanting to do it, to finish up, you know. It was a big shock to them when he did die, even though they probably knew he was dying. See, the labels are slightly different here, so they've got the 2 types of photograph on that. Again, here in the credits you've got the vinyl has been meticulously recreated. I sound like a robot saying that every time. From the first generation master mixes. Again, Bob Ludwig, he did all Queen's catalogue back over 10 years ago. So this was all tracks arranged and produced by Queen, mixing supervision by David Richards. Additional material recorded by Mac. The vocals on this and the material comes from all over the place, so we'll go through it there now in a second. So side 1 here, it starts off with It's a Beautiful Day. I think that's from 1980. His voice sounds strong and young on it. It's kind of just a chant really, not much else happens. Then there's a lot of heavy guitar from May, and then it goes into Made in Heaven. That's a Mercury song from Mr. Bad Guy in 1985. That's the first thing that kind of irritated me about this. Taking his solo material and just putting Roger's drums and Brian's guitar over it and John's bass. Yeah, I was never really into that. I just wish they didn't put that stuff on this album. No, it got the music out to a younger generation and stuff like that. This album was very, very big in 95 and all through 96. It's a big selling album. But I think that the Mercury solo stuff should have been left to Mercury's solo album. Then we have Let Me Live, kind of a gospel track. I think the lyric is a bit corny on it as well. It sounds unfinished. All you do is take and all I do is give. Yeah, it's pretty, pretty simple stuff. But still not a bad track. It would have been a great Rod Stewart track, I reckon. Then number 4 is Mother Love. As far as I know, this was the very last vocal ever recorded by Freddie in summer of 1991. That is a good song, actually. Quite sad and quite... But I thought the lyrics again are a little bit... But what can you do? They're a little bit twee. Yeah, so that's side 1. Side 2 on this now continues with My Life Has Been Saved. There was a B-side from Scandal, which was a single off The Miracle in 1989. I always thought it was a weak song. Don't know what it is. The opening melody reminds me of the solo from Something by the Beatles. It just sounds like a copy of that. And I think the lyrics are a bit, again, it sounds like it was an idea that they thought they might put on an album and they kind of shelved it after that. Yeah, it's not my favourite song. This is a re-recording of it. It is different. Next is I Was Born to Love You. Again, this was the 3rd track on Mr. Bad Guy, and I prefer Freddie's version. Again, Brian May does a good job with the guitars here. Brian put a lot of effort into this project, you can tell. It's a good song, but again I prefer Mercury's version, and I kind of wish they didn't put it on this. Heaven for Everyone. This was on Shove It by The Cross in 1987. It came out of kind of Magic days, I think. Freddie actually sings on the Cross album, believe it or not. That was a surprise when people bought that album. I remember I bought it on CD in 89 and I was going, what? So yeah, that was a song that Freddie sang on. Heaven for Everyone, it's not bad actually. It's not a bad song. I mean, the best song here is I Was Born to Love You, but that's, it's a Mercury masterpiece. Side 3 kicks off with Too Much Love Will Kill You. That was on Brian May's 1982 solo album, Back to the Light, and Brian released it as a single himself. He also performed it at the Freddie Mercury tribute concert. It is a good song. This is Mercury's vocal version, so it comes from, I think, the mid to late 80s. It's a good song. One of the best songs on the album. And then we have You Don't Fool Me. This one was made up by sound engineer. It was from bits and pieces. They kind of had a bit of a vocal, and it's just all put together. And it does sound like a good Queen track. That was a big hit as well in 1996. It's not bad, you know what I mean? It's quite upbeat. Reminds me of Ashford and Simpson for some reason. What's that one called? Teardrops. Reminds me of that track. And then we have Winter's Tale. That's Mercury. It's a kind of a ballad, and it's about winter and stuff like that. And that's a nice song, and Queen have got the chorus vocals on it again. And there's a nice solo by me. Yeah, and then you got It's a Beautiful Day reprise. So side 4 is just, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes of just ambient noises and stuff like that. This was actually on the compact disc. That's why the CD was, I don't know, over an hour long when it came out. So it's just here called 13. I don't know what it is. It's kind of the band's way of, I don't know, it was supposed to be Freddie going to heaven or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, it's here, so it brings the LP to the same length as the original CD. Maybe it should have been a double first day. I don't know. So this is of novel value. It's probably the most unlike Queen track Queen have ever made. So it's all synthesizers, and you can hear bits of dialogue and all kind of weird stuff. I'd say, yeah, it's for chilling out or going to sleep too, I'd say. It's kind of Queen's Brian Eno moment, I guess. Yeah. So that's Made in Heaven, the 2015 half-speed mastered edition. It's not as bad as I'm making out, don't get me wrong. I love Queen. I've seen them in concert in 1986. I'm a big fan. I've got lots of Queen stuff. It wouldn't be my favourite Queen album, but there is some nice stuff on it. As a whole, it doesn't really work for me. There's something hollow and missing with it. But when you put on side one and you crank it up after It's a Beautiful Day, the guitars on Made in Heaven, track 2, sound absolutely fantastic. It's Brian May playing some of the best guitar of his whole career. It's nearly worth it alone for that. One thing I did notice in the older vinyl copy I had, and on the CD even, the vocals on Made in Heaven were really, really trebly. They were almost cutting right through. It was almost as if somebody made a mistake and had the treble up full on the mixing desk. Don't ask me why. They've smoothed them out on this version, so it makes it easier to listen to. Yeah, I just thought it was really, 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 just really piercing, you know. So thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe and take care.